Hey there, welcome to VIT-AP's 100 Days of Coding Challenge. So here is the next solution for the Mystery Phase-1 contest. So the question is the looping labyrinth. So you are exploring a magical island of nested loops, but the inhabitants have a peculiar way of navigating through them. So each nested loop represents a corridor and the inhabitants follow a specific rule. So that they can only move in a straight line within the corridor. So this is the first point. At the end of each corridor, they have to make a U-turn and go back the same way they came. So your task is to implement a function which is count loops that takes the number of nested loops as input and returns the total number of U-turns that the inhabitants will make traversing all corridors. So the input format is basically the number n, which is an integer, which represents the number of nested loops. So the constraint is given, which is it must be between 1 and 10. And the output format is the total number of U-turns. So let's suppose we have a corridor. So if we have n corridors, then how many U-turns we have total? So firstly, if we take the ith corridor, then we would have traversed already the I-1 corridors, and it would have each 2 U-turns. So we need to multiply it with 2. So and we need to add it like this for all n corridors. So that's it. So now let's write it in the code. So I've already created the Java file. So firstly, let us take the input. So for that, I'll create the scanner class and new scanner system.in. Now I'll write integer n, use this scanner object to take the input. So here we are going to take the input of the number of nested loops. So if number n is less than 10 and greater than 1, only then we need to perform this operation. So I will call the function here. So what is the function? So let the function name be number of U-turns. So I'll name it just U-turns. And we can pass this n here. So if the condition fails, then we can print invalid input. So that would be a string. So now let's define the function. So static, so the return type is int and U-turns. This would take an integer. So what we need to do, so we can create a number called count and let us initialize it to 0. So now we can use a for loop to iterate. So for int I equals 0, I less than n and I plus plus. So what we can do is we can update this count. So what we'll do is we can add. So as I already told the logic, so we need to multiply here 2 into I-1. So I-1 represents already traversed corridors and this 2 because we have 2 U-turns in each corridor. And finally we would return the count. It must start with 1 and it must be equal to n because we are doing here I-1. So now let's run the file and check. So Java C the looping labyrinth .java, and now run the file. So let me give the same input, which is 3. So you can see we had got the 6 as output. So that's it for this video. Do follow the 100 Days of Coding Challenge by VIT-AP. So stay tuned until the phase 2. Thank you for watching.